on election day, how is it that the supervisor of election would have some sort of direct impact on, on such a temporary position, on temporary workers?
Yeah, so yeah, no, that's critical, and I think that you can have a opportunity to really put the right systems in place. So, one thing that I've actually been talking to some folks about is about what systems do we have, especially for this year. We have this COVID-19 going on, and we have to be prepared for the fact that a lot of people we're counting on to be poll workers may not be able to come through for us at the last minute, and we may need to train new people.
And and again, I want to interrupt you. And I think that's actually also very true, because most of the, every time I've been at a different polling site, most of the people that were poll watchers and workers, they were older, like retirees, probably that over 65 age. I don't want to, tell anybody's age, but you do have more of an older population. How is it that you'd be able to convince, someone young to take 2 weeks off work or do this job for a temporary position? Because most of the time I've seen they tend to be, more older, retired folks.
Yeah, and you hit the nail right on the head there, is that obviously because it is something temporary, that you would have a hard time getting younger people. I mean, you do have to be able to work with those senior citizens because they're the ones who are able to do it, and they're the ones who are willing to do it. But that doesn't mean that we can't put better training systems in place, that we can't use particularly online training. I mean, I'm finding, especially with the crisis that we're going through now, more and more people who maybe have never gotten online before, they're getting online now. So we need to be able to make sure that that training is available online, so that even once we get into early voting, if people, work maybe the first couple of days and then they're not able to work anymore because they get sick, which is very likely to happen this time around, that we are prepared to replace those people and that we can give people the proper training that they need by having that training be available virtually. So that's one big thing that we would do as far as making sure that people know everything that they need to know. And then it has a matter of having the right content and having the right plans in place to make sure that everybody is doing what they're supposed to do. One good example I like to bring up is the Iowa caucuses this year. They decided to use a new app to tally all the votes.
Right, and it ended up being a hot mess, right?
Yeah, it ended up being a hot mess, and really, there were some basic things that when it comes to implementing a new system into a complex organization, which is the type of work that I do right now for a living, there's just certain things that have to be done as far as the way that you communicate with people and the way that you set benchmarks and the way that you follow up to make sure that those benchmarks were met. I mean, there's no reason that people should have been downloading the app for the first time while the voting was going on. There was really a lack of planning and a lack of organization around how that new solution was implemented. And it just shows that it takes, in addition, before that, it was a poor decision made to implement a technology that really wasn't ready for prime time. So that's another aspect of it as well. But there's just really a lot to it that I feel like if you have a deep background and grounding in this industry and you understand how things work, you're not going to make some of those mistakes that are likely to be made otherwise.